Hey guys, welcome to my channel Suno Kahani. So, today we are going to read chapter 19 of Lallan Sweets. So, let's start. I mixed the besan and kesar, adding water in measured pots, putting in that one pinch of salt that Lalaji loved so much, mixing it all into the batter. The sugar boiled in the water on the stove, and I kept an eye on it, heating up the ghee in the kadhai. My mind focused. I put my finger in the batter to feel the consistency. Satisfied, I took out the perforated bundi ladde. Ludley. It was like everything was clear now. My answer started to make sense. I spread the batter over the ladle as it fell into the kadhai in drops, frying up to be little bundis, the pride of Lallan sweets. The bundis, meanwhile, sizzled and glistened in the oil, frying to warm and delicious yellowish orange. I removed them from the kadhai in bunches and placed them in the sugar syrup. For 2 hours, I was busy preparing the laddus, putting everything together with care and detail. This was it, the final completion. Everything that we had been working for the past few weeks, even our lives, came down to this. Rohit and Mohit were in their own kitchen across the veranda, making laddus. I had told my mother not to help me. This was my job, at the core of it all, of Lallan Sweets and our tradition business. It was all about making laddus, wasn't it? And if I could not do this on my own, who was I and what was I even fighting for? I was bathed in sweat when I left the laddus to set. I crossed the veranda and went to Lalaji's rooms. I waved away the hookah smoke. I am ready, Lalaji. I told him. He nodded. On one side of the table stood Rohit and Mohit behind their thali of laddus. When I did not see the reddish tinge on their laddus, I doubted myself. But when I saw the newspaper beneath their thalis, stained as red as their hands, I knew they had used Lal Kusam. Auntie and Pappu uncle stood behind their sons. My mother, standing behind me, looked tense and worried. Did she think I was going to be loose? Lalaji sat in the center of the room on a chair and said, "Present your laddus." Rohit and I put our laddus in front of him and waited, hardly daring to breathe. Whatever the case, I was sure that they had the wrong ingredient. There was no way that Lal Kusam could be the magic ingredient. I had known as soon as I saw the stain on their clothes bag in the ashram. There was no way that ingredient had been used for years without those red stains escaping our eyes. No matter how careful Lalaji had been, Lal Kusum was bound to leave some trace. I was sure, but I waited for Lalaji to confirm it. He took a bite of their laddu first and chewed for a long time, until every last bundi was swallowed. I could not read his face at all. He then picked up one of my laddus and ate it in the exact same manner. He nodded once he had eaten the last bit and then said, "Present your magic ingredient." My heart beat faster as I looked Rohit and Mohit taking out the lal kusam from their bag excitedly. I gripped the side of my thali and could feel my mother's eyes on me. Lalaji held the lal kusam in his hand, examining it carefully and sniffing it. I saw realization down upon Pappu uncle's face. If it really had been the magic ingredient, Lalaji's face would have betrayed some sense of familiarity. Nevertheless, Lalaji turned to me. "Taru, your ingredient." I shook my head. "I can't say it." "But you have to. Not in front of everyone. I won't. The secret of the magic ingredient has been protected for years. It should be remain that way." He nodded and signaled to the others to leave, but Rohit and Mohit stayed. They deserved to. Pappu uncle protested, but under Lalaji's warning look, he paled and shut the door behind himself. Now that the others were gone, I turned to look at Lalaji. "There is no magic ingredient, is there?" I asked him. There was absolute silence as both of us stared at each other, unblinking. I was not going to be the one to give up, to accept defeat. Not even the fan dared to make a noise. Finally, Lalaji averted his face. I yelled, "I knew it. I was right." Rohit and Mohit howled in protest, instigating that was not true, that they had found the Lal Kusam that met all the criteria Lalaji had laid out. But Lalaji shook his head in resignation. "So, this is it, huh?" I asked. "This is it, the magic ingredient, the lie." It made me quite mad when I said it out loud, because it was not just a lie, it was a series of lies, years and years of lies, not only to the world but also to us, to his own family. Who else was involved? Who else knew about this fraud? I was scared to ask. "No, Taru," Lalaji said. "Before you declare it a lie, you must know the entire story, right from the beginning, and then you pass a judgment. Tell me, is that acceptable to you?" I nodded. Rohit and Mohit looked shocked beyond measure as they sat down on the chairs around the table. I tasted a Lal Kusam laddu and had to accept it that it did not taste half bad. That it had a distinct taste from the usual Lallan sweets laddu. I sat down at the table too and somehow felt closer to them than I had in years. We had all been played for fools. Lalaji took a sip of water and began with his characteristic cough. Rewind to many years ago. Remember, I told you that we finally had the coveted corner in Anarkali Bazaar, the pride of Lahore. Corner, I interrupted. I thought you said a soap. Taruk, come on. I nodded but could not help be spectacle. Lalaji had so many stories about the past, and the half of them contradicted each other. We had a corner. Preparations were in a full swing to set everything up. Every day we made new varieties of mithais, trying and testing. For a child, what could be better than that? The street would be abused. Rickshaws and tangas dodging the beggars on the road. A buffalo running wild here and there. But inside the shop was the fun. Jewelry, spices, earthenware, dupattas, mithai, everything you can think of it. It was the Chandni Chowk of Lahore back then. People used to go there on a day off. It was going to bring us good fortune. You see, when we were trying the mithais, the entire mohalla in Dera Ghazi Khan was involved. Not many in their neighborhood had managed to buy a shop in Anarkali Bazaar. A corner, I reminded him. He laughed. A corner it may be, but we put all our energy into it. And that's how I got to know Mansoor Bibi from a few Gulis town. The Hindus in our lane would call her a witch. And oh, they were not all wrong. You see, she was a magician. A magician with her words and magician with her food. She could cure illness, make you wish for things you never knew you could have, and concord khadas for every occasion. Childbirth to funeral. People would come to her because they believed she would bring them luck, and many times it would happen that wishes would be fulfilled after drinking one of her kadas. One day I tasted her halwa. It was not like the Karachi halwa they sell these days. No, it was pure. The milk and the ghee we had back then would be the magic to you now. I had the halwa. Children and I knew. I knew that was it. It was magic. This was what we needed to sell. The three of us were listening closely. After that, I tried to stick by her side at all times, hoping to catch a glimpse of what she put in the halwa, but I never found out. I can't tell you, little Lallu, she would say to me and laugh, because if I tell you, it won't be magic anymore. But I didn't give up. I kept asking her, and finally she told me it grew only in select place. Bibi pointed out to me on a map where all it grew. But what was magic about it? I asked him. Lalaji looked up in frustration. You see, that's what the toughest question is. You would not know magic until you see it, but once you do, that's all you dream about. Once I tasted that halwa, I knew that I would never have anything else like that. I told you, it has the light of the sun and the twinkle of the stars. It's like the softest touch and the most memorable song. My grandfather used to say that good food is like music. It may not be out of your mind for some time, but you will remember it forever. As someone remembers a song forever, you may not sing it all the time, but in some part of your mind, it has already made a home. This mithai you make, Lallu Bibi used to say, it should taste like your best kiss. But I have never kissed anyone, so I never knew. I put my head in my hands. I did not need to hear about my grandfather's best kiss. As I grew closer to her, Bibi promised me that she would one day tell me the magic ingredient. She had a soft spot for me, but then everything was destroyed. Of course, there had been a word on the street of some time, but in the matter of days, hours even, everything changed. We had to give up our shop and make the long journey here. We lost it all. We reached Ludhiana broken, battered, and bruised, in shock over what had just happened. We were evicted from what we had called home all our lives. We had to leave everything behind. There were no banks that held our money. We had stored all that we earned in gold, cattle, and grains. Before leaving, I said goodbye to Bibi. She was as much in shock, but she did not have to leave. So you never found out about the magic ingredient? He shook his head sadly. Never. I knew what it tasted like and tried to describe it as best as I could, but of course, words are not enough. I only remember the areas Bibi had told me it might be found in India, and there are the cities where you all have been. What do you mean? Rohit asked. Lalaji signed. When we reached India, we had a lot of to set up. From Ludhiana, we relocated to Siaka and were given this small shop. We had a lot to rebuild, but I never forgot the magic ingredient, and the thought of it took over my mind like a parasite. Remember, I told you I was in Mathura when I met your grandmother? I was there looking for the magic ingredient, all the places you have been. I went there too, trying to look for it, and we finally set up Lallan Sweets years on. I did not have the magic ingredient. The market was just coming up, and people did not have money. If someone wanted to have sweets, they would just make them at home. I did not see Lallan Sweets doing very well except on Holi and Diwali, so I did the only thing that seemed clever to me at that time. You pretend you had a magic ingredient. I completed his sentence for him. Lalaji nodded. Business was business. When I heard Natwar, your Bauji, Tara, speak of a secret ingredient, I was reminded of my own quest. We had a house to run, so I spread the humor that a magic ingredient we had brought from Pakistan we used in our sweets. I made this elaborate show of going into the room each morning and putting something into the thali. Back then, this was the entertainment of the day. People would wait outside the shop to see me to go and in and put the magic ingredient. It became an elaborate show and it worked. The popularity of the laddu soared and we could not make as many as we had to sell. Soon, Leland's magic ingredient was as famous as Siaka's Victorian town. But there was no magic ingredient, I said. I don't know why, but it broke my heart. Tara, yes, you are right. There was no magic ingredient, but there was one out there. And I knew it because I had tasted it. And the thought was like an obsession in my head. I never forgot about it. But why? Mohit asked, genuinely confused. Now you have a Lallan sweets. People are buying sweets from there thinking you are using the magic ingredient. Everything is going well, even without it. Why do you still want it? I cannot explain it. Just knowing that there is a magic ingredient out there makes me want it. Imagine if people already love our laddus, what we can do if we do have the ingredient. How can I forget about it and simply move on? Call it a human greed, temperament. Haven't men gone in search of riches that they did not need? At least our intentions were noble to find a magic ingredient instead of gold and treasure. Our intentions? I asked. Lalaji walked around looking troubled and singing. Yes, of ours. At some point, Tara, your father, also went to look for the magic ingredient. You see, I hadn't told anyone that I had no magic ingredient, no, not even my family. So one day I said to my son, like I did to you all, Lillian's will not be inherited, it must be earned. I gave him some task at this very places, hoping he would come across the magic ingredient in some way. I told him to find it, but never told him that I never had it. Papu was not in Siaka then, he was studying in Patiala, and your father, brave and curious as he was, left in search for it. My heart beat faster as I looked at Rohit and Mohit. Why had no one ever told me this? Did my mother know? Where were they even married back then? And I asked Lalaji. Like me, he could not find it either. He returned months later, tired and barely alive. He told me that he had failed. I was overcome with guilt and what I had put my son through, and told him the secret. I made him take the secret, scarred oath to never reveal that we did not have a magic ingredient. Life went on as it was. This was absolutely bizarre. None of it had made any sense, yet Lalaji was here narrating this crazy story that had actually lived and made us apart from of as well. I imagine my father returning home, wrinkled with guilt at not having found the magic ingredient, thinking he did not deserve to be at Lalan's woods. The thought made me mad. Lalaji had devised him and continued to devise all of us, sending us on this useless chase at the end of which was nothing. How could you do this to your own son? To us, I asked him, furious. You went on the quest and you could not find the ingredient. Yet you sent all of us there even though thinking things had not worked out for you. What was the point of all this? But it's somewhere out there. I don't care, I yelled. It felt like a part of me I had died when Lalaji said that all these years there had been no magic ingredient. And what about all the stupid tasks you made us to do? A picture at Taj Mahal, the spots on my head, working at Bombay Halwai. How in the world would those help us find the magic ingredient? I mean, If it exists, I probably saw it and missed it because I was too busy getting the damn picture. Why didn't you tell us to ask around for an unusual plant or flower or cooking technique? Lalaji shook his head, also agitated, and started walking around. I have a reason, Taru. Firstly, of course, I did not want you to know that I had no magic ingredient. You would never go looking for it otherwise. So I needed to make up some tasks so you would not think it all leads somewhere. Secondly, you are forgetting its magic ingredient. It is literally magic. I am positive that those who go looking for it at the right place and right moment will know it when they see it, or rather the magic ingredient will reveal itself to them. But why? I asked. I have always known it. Even when I had tasted the halwa, I just knew there was something in it. It's like knowing all of life's secrets, or the first time you realize that this is it, that this is love, or the first time you hold your baby in your arms and think there is nothing greater in the world. That's how you just know the magic, and that's how I felt when I looked up at baby after tasting the halwa. She knew that I knew there was a magic ingredient. So you just made up these random tasks? Mohit asked him. Well, partly, Lalaji replied, sitting down again. But there is another reason as well. The Russia group has been known to add secret concoctions to their food that they refuse to share with the rest of the world. I was hoping at least one of you might stumble upon something there. There was a rumor that some special plants grow under the moonlight when it is reflected by the whistled whitest marble. So you went to Taj Mahal, and there was a very good chance that Bombay Halwai would have a secret ingredient. Network comes from the same town as us and has a mithai shop and rupee and kanu. Well, I believe they had hidden stuff from me. They knew about my obsession with the magic ingredient, and they used to visit BB too. But I realized that nobody has the magic ingredient. Would not I care about Mrs. Ludhiana or whatever? They would open the greatest mithai shop in the world. I have started to think they are right old frauds. I could not help but laugh a little. Right, right, old frauds like us. I could feel Rohit and Mohit staring at me. Lalaji was not laughing either. We are not frauds, Tara, he said quietly. Are we not? I asked him, my anger getting the better of me. For years we have been telling the entire town, people who have grown up with us, helped us, our neighbors, those who regularly come to our shop to buy sweets from their happiest day, who have trusted us while they are ate blindly that there is a magic ingredient here. In here, we have broken their faith, lied to them, and deceived them. Not once, but over and over again throughout all these years. And not just you, my father as well. These people who have helped run our house, we have cheated them. That's not true, Taru, Lalaji said. What else do you call lying, Lalaji? The magic ingredient is not just why people buy Lallan sweets. That's not true. You just said that is the selling point. The reason why people come here because they all want the magic ingredient. Lalaji banged his hand on the table but then immediately gathered himself and spoke calmly. Tara, try and understand. You too, Rohit and Mohit. All of you have done a great job with the quest. It does not matter that you didn't find ingredient. Think about your journey of the past few weeks. All your adventures, all the people you met, and the things you learned. What was it about? You think it was merely about finding the magic ingredient and action is inspired by greed? Think about it and go on. I shut my eyes and went back to magic ingredient of our journey. And all of that had happened to us. I remembered Nico's word. It does not matter where you are, it matters who you are with. It's true that I had not obsessed over the magic ingredient the whole time. I was so involved with dealing with the many problems and people that come our way every day that it really had not been that much about the magic ingredient. It was about your journey. Children, the time spent on the road, the relationship you formed, the people you met, and the lessons you learned, not about some silly magic ingredient. Granted, it is still out there and is like a little slice of heaven, but it's the that counts. The quest has proven that you are smart, mature, and responsible adults who will run Lallan sweets better than their fathers ever did. Of course, sometimes you will make mistakes and end up breaking some rules, but I want you to remember that Lallan sweets, these laddus that we make, are not all about the magic ingredient. It may make people to come you once or maybe twice, but people in this town have been buying laddus from us for decades, and that is because what we do here, we do it with love and care every single day that this shop has existed. I have been there to oversee the sweets being made. to get them displayed and packed. The effort and love to this family goes into the running of this shop, and that's why we are not fraudsters. We don't mix water into our milk. We don't dilute our ghee. We don't add processed sugar. There was a knock on the door then, and Lalaji went to open it. It was Pappu uncle demanding to know what was happening. He called for his sons, who replied that they needed some more time. Pappu uncle begged after a couple of minutes, and Lalaji shut the door again. None of us spoke for a while, and I finally understand what Lalaji was saying. Our love and care, the magic ingredient. I remember all those mornings I had seen Lalaji rushing to the shop, making plans with everyone to beat competition, making sure our sweets were the most delicious, encouraging and inspiring us with everything that he did. You do. You do add some magic to it, Lalaji. Rohit spoke up. Lalaji folded his arms across his chest. I do. It's just not anything tangible, but I still have hopes that we will one day find the magic ingredient. No, Rohit said. That's not I meant. The mithai we make, everyone has their own unique quirk. You add this pinch of salt, you told us. I always see you do it. That's what makes our laddus magical. That's an old trick in the book, son. Lalaji said, laughing. People do it who really knows how to make mithais. That's you, Mohit said. I could see Lalaji was touched. Lalaji, I asked suddenly, what about the sari and the necklace? What did Chandigarh have to do with the magic ingredient? Oh, he said and suddenly seemed nervous, rubbing his forehead. Well, that was an earned errand I made you run. I looked at Rohit and Mohit confused. They seemed equally perplexed. But why would you need a sari and necklace? Not me, he said. And then, with a resigned expression, he said, someone else does. Kalavati. Who's that? Rohit asked. Lalaji signed, but it was a long, relieved, happy sign. My to-be wife. सो गाइस, वहाँ पे हमारा चैप्टर 19 ख़त्म होता है. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक शेयर एंड कमेंट योर फेवरेट बुक. थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग. बाय.